Hello, beautiful souls. I am Isabel Gloria. Welcome to Rooted in the Cosmos podcast. I wish to empower you to seek truth from within and to reconnect with your cosmic self by sharing my own wisdom and journey with you. I am so grateful that you're spending this time with me today. And now, let us explore our roots in the cosmos. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Rooted in the Cosmos. I hope you had a wonderful week, and I'm happy that you're tuning back in today. So today we want to talk about the spiritual awakening and how you, me, everybody feels in the beginning, because it can get quite rough. And I think a lot of stuff that I'm going to tell you, or I'm going to tell from my own experience, will resonate with you, and you might find yourself in what I say, because think back to when you first started your spiritual journey and you started to realize that there is more than we are taught in school, that there's more than the average person talks about, and how lonely we feel and how weird it is. And gaining that confidence in your knowledge and gaining that power is really rough sometimes, because you feel so alone, especially if you don't have anyone waking up with you. And this is what I want to talk about today and share my personal experience and how I transcended that really lonely phase of my life. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today, because a spiritual awakening is not something really social to experience. There's something called the spiritual loneliness or the spiritual isolation. That is a phase right after you have your spiritual awakening, or after you start to spiritually awaken. And it is a term that is used for the feeling of being alone with your worldview after a spiritual awakening. And yeah, like I said, it's not really social to experience, and you feel kind of alone in the world, and it is hard to find your perceptions suddenly out of alignment with those around you, like even family and friends. And you're starting to set different priorities. Like when you used to go out and party and go clubbing, and suddenly you feel all those energies in the room, and you start to realize that this is not very high vibrational. Like, I'm not saying it is bad to go and party sometimes or to have a good time, but a lot of people who are experiencing a spiritual awakening, they can't stand the energy when many people are in a room, like at a club or in a party, because it usually is not very in alignment, and we suddenly find ourselves not liking stuff anymore that we used to like. And this can make us feel very, very disconnected from our friends and from our family. Not many of us have the possibility to experience our spiritual awakening in companionship together with a friend or with family, and I luckily have had that experience. Like my two best friends, they woke up with me, and it also was kind of a dynamic that happened because we were simultaneously awakening, and we exchanged and talked a lot about it, and we didn't feel weird because we had each other, if that makes sense. So this is I know I'm very privileged in that sense, because this is not the usual case, but I still know how it feels when everyone else around you just doesn't get it, and you feel the urge to wake them up, and you feel so hopeless because they just won't get it if you're talking to them about really important things which became important to you. It's like talking to a wall because it doesn't go through to them. And yeah, that's what I want to touch on today. I don't even want to think about how hard it must be if you're completely alone with this. So if you're out there listening to this and you are having a spiritual awakening and you have no friend, no family, nobody who is with you, know that there are so many people out there who get you, who see you, who feel you, who know what you're going through, and you're not alone. You're just not with someone who is having the same experiences, but you're not alone, and you're not wrong because everyone around you says so. So I'm so proud of you if you're going through this alone, and I'm really, that's so amazing that you can do that. And yeah, be proud of yourself, give yourself credit, and you're so brave to express your spirituality even if no one is clapping and if no one is approving. Yeah, it is so brave of you to do that, and I'm so proud of you. So I think we all know that situation when you're desperately trying to explain something to one of your not awakened friends or family members, and it is as if you're talking to an energetic wall. Even though your loved ones might try to understand you, you can feel the disruption, and you can feel that they don't quite get what you're trying to explain, and that it feels as real as Neverland to them. And they might even get worried about you and ask you if you're fine. And in severe cases, they might even think you're like mentally not stable because you're talking about things they're just not used to, and you change a lot. And a spiritual awakening can really change a person like instantly. I've seen so many people having a spiritual awakening, like even in my personal life. I know from a girl from school back then when I still went to school, and she was like interested in veganism and all of that stuff, and it started her spiritual journey. And at first she was like, when I talked about it, I was a spiritual person back then, and I talked about the law of attraction and how we create our own reality, and she was really intrigued and interested, but she couldn't believe me, and she was like very skeptic. And as 2 years or so passed by, she had her own spiritual awakening, and for her, veganism was her catalyst to understand that we are all connected. And she also found a lot of people who inspired her, who said the same things that I did, so she started looking into it. And it's so different now. She's like fully in her purpose now, working a spiritual job, and I don't want to give away too many personal details, but she's changed her life completely, and it was all her own power. Like, I might have been a little bit of a catalyst for her because she was the first person she knew that was spiritually open and that was bringing those new ideas to her, but she did it on her own. She just powered through, and she had that awakening, and she changed her life completely, and she's doing something completely different now from when I used to be in school with her. And I think that's so powerful, how impactful a spiritual awakening is to us, and how we feel a desire to change things and to change ourselves, and not in a bad way like we have to change, but it just happens naturally, and it has such a big impact on a person's life. And I feel like we all want to share that with our loved ones. We all want to give that to them, what we experience. And we finally feel like we have answers to important questions. And we also see through the deception, and we also start seeing how controlled and how manipulated we are in our programmed society. Like, if you are in that stage of awakening to the deception, I don't even have to tell you how hard it is and how rough it can get, because you feel so betrayed from all the stuff you used to believe in. It's just falling apart, and you see that it's actually not in our best interest how we are controlled by media, by the government, by all of these power houses that are controlling us. We obviously want our family and our friends to understand this, and we want them to feel empowered and to realize how small they think they are, and how programmed to believe, how programmed they are to believe that they are so inferior and that they're not powerful. And it's just, I totally get that. I wanted to wake up everyone around me, and I felt this inner anxiety of, oh my God, I know the truth. I need to wake these people up, and I will have to do anything I can to make them realize what's really going on. And when you're in that stage of desperately trying to explain something to someone, and you're just screaming in the void and it doesn't stick, it is so frustrating. Speaking from my own experience and what I've learned along my spiritual journey is that I can't help everyone, and that I'm also not supposed to help everyone, and that I can't shove down my truth other people's throats. Like, there is no way to explain spiritual understanding. You can open doors for people, and you can try to be a catalyst for them, but they have to go through on their own. And like I said, with the friend I had in school, I obviously was a catalyst for her, but it took her 2 years until she realized that I was right and that I said something that was actually valuable, and she needed to do that on her own. I couldn't make her have a spiritual awakening 2 years earlier than it happened to her. And yeah, that's really what you need to consider. You're not supposed to help everyone, and everyone is on a different journey. It's also their right. If people don't want to hear what you have to say, and they don't want to know the truth, and they don't want to have a deeper understanding of existence, it is their right to shut you down. They don't have to. They have free will of not knowing this. And this is what you should really consider when you're trying to wake someone up. They have a right to not know, and if they don't want to know, you can't make them want to know. And this is really a humbling thought. If you just think about, everybody's on a different journey, and the most adopted person that is perfectly integrated in the matrix could be an ascended master on a different dimension, and is just taking a little break from the hard spiritual work that this person has done or this soul has done on other levels. And in this human expression, they're just taking a break, like a buffer life, and they don't want to have anything to do with spiritual work, and they just want to relax and enjoy their time, and they're not karmically connected to here, and they're just chilling and they leave this place, and they just want to have this relaxed time in between incarnations where they don't have to consider spiritual awakening or spiritual work, or they don't have to help anybody and wake up anybody up, and they're just chilling their life. But in reality, they're ascended masters doing hard spiritual work. And this is what you should always have in the back of your head. You only know this one expression of this person you're talking to, even if it's a close friend or family member. You're only aware of that one layer of them, of that one expression, and you don't know who and what they are doing on higher dimensions and what their whole story behind their incarnation is. They could literally just be chilling their lives because they have had so much spiritual work to do in parallel lives or on other dimensions. So this is something that really helped me to understand that I'm not supposed to help anyone, that I'm not supposed to wake anyone up, that I'm just here to spread my message, my truth, stand in my truth, stand my ground, and be confident and bold in what I have to say. And those people who are meant to be inspired by that and who are meant to feel that as a catalyst and experience that as something that's waking them up, they will wake up. And those who are not supposed to wake up won't wake up, and you can't make them wake up at all. It's just a natural thing you have to accept, and it really soothes your soul when you know you're not supposed to wake anybody up. And if you are a catalyst, if you're doing your work, those who are meant to be woken up through you, they will be attracted, and they will find inspiration in what you have to share, and in basically in who you are. You don't even need to sit down with people and tell them that's how it works, and you know the drill. You just have to be yourself. And if you're really becoming more confident in your spiritual beliefs and in your new worldview, it will be impressive to people who are open for that energy. They will see you and they will think, wow, this person is really grounded in her knowledge. There has to be something true about it, and there has to be something serious about it. Because if they perceive you as an intelligent, grounded, sovereign being, they won't think you're crazy. I mean, some they might, because they're afraid or because they're not meant to awaken. But those that you can inspire, they won't laugh about you. They will, even if it's just secretly, if you're so confident in your spiritual self and in your spiritual expression and in just being you, they will accept it, and they will probably be inspired by you. If you find yourself in that feeling, in that need to wake other people up, you're acting from a place of fear yourself, because you're afraid that you're not able to wake up your friends, to wake up your family. You're not able to make them realize we are all living in a matrix, and we are all being controlled by the shadows, and horrible things will happen to their souls if they don't know, and all that kind of stuff is very fear-based. And when you're coming from that place to wake someone up and to tell them about something, they will feel that fear, and they might be interested in what you have to say, and they listen to you, and you say them all these things, which are not just positive but also pretty scary if you're not looking deeper into them, and you might scare them. And this is what happened to me when I used to come from a place of fear, because I was so shocked at discovering all these things that go on behind the scenes, and this occult stuff, and the energies that are being used and harvested, and all these crazy things that sound like the worst science fiction movie I've ever seen. I was really shaken by that, and in that stage I tried to tell that to people I love, and I tried to wake them up, and I tried to tell them we are all controlled by the shadows, and you need to stop being manipulated, and you need to discover when they are trying to manipulate you and they want to harvest your energy. And it was really not beneficial. As you can imagine, it scared them, and I had to do some serious damage control after I realized what I had done. And I just want to protect you from doing the same mistake, because I know how it feels, and I know that you want to share everything right away when you're discovering what is truly going on, and when you're in the middle of your spiritual awakening. But those people who are not ready to transcend those fears and who are not ready to awaken, they will be stuck in those theories that made them afraid, and it is not beneficial. It's like there are people who are waking up to some things happening on this planet, and they're in that conspiracy theorist stage, which is amazing because you need it in order to wake up, but they are staying there. They are not transcending this phase of realizing all the things that are wrong on this planet, and they are not transcending this phase, and they're staying stuck in conspiracy theories and in how horrible the world is, and they're constantly searching for new evidence that everything sucks. And this is a phase that I would say almost everybody has to go through when they have a spiritual awakening, but we definitely need to go on and move on from that. While my spiritual progress went on, and I would eventually transcend these fear-based perceptions and gain a deeper understanding of how they play out in our reality, the people I told about those things, they were stuck in those pieces of knowledge, and they were really afraid. And so there's one rule that we should never break. It is to respect other people's free will, and this can also mean that they don't want to know something. That's what I've learned the hard way, and what I really hold dear now, because it is really important not to do more damage than good with telling people the truth and telling people about your new worldviews and what you found out, because if they're not ready for it, they first won't understand it, second, it won't benefit them, third, it will make them afraid, and it will not do anything good. While my own spiritual progress went on, and I would eventually transcend these fear-based perceptions and gain a deeper understanding of how they really play out in our reality, the people I told about these things, they were stuck with those pieces of knowledge, and it made them really uncomfortable. And that's why I, for myself, decided that I will never break someone else's free will to not know something, because it is something that we should really respect, and I've learned that the hard way. So what I did instead was I tried to understand their perspective. Not everyone is ready for a reality crash, and the feeling that everything they think might be wrong and that their whole reality has to be reconsidered, that's a huge, huge, huge step, and opening the box of Pandora means to never be able to close it again. It is literally life-changing, and I can't make that decision for anybody else, and you can't make that decision for somebody else, and this is something we should truly respect. And yeah, I've learned that the hard way, and I really think that's a good value to hold, like not trying to force knowledge upon someone because it won't benefit them in any way. Not all souls are meant to have the same experience, and not all souls are coming here to have a spiritual awakening. Like I touched on it earlier in this episode, your closest family member who is absolutely not spiritual could be super, super awakened and advanced on other dimensions, and there is literally no way to tell if someone is an awakened soul or not. You are just knowing their human expression, and you're just aware of that human expression. And we are way too multidimensional to judge a book by its cover. And every person lives through so many different aspects of their soul in different dimensions simultaneously that we literally can't make a clear image of them by just knowing their human selves or their one expression of them. You don't need to save anyone, and if you feel like somebody doesn't resonate with what you have to tell them, don't force it upon them. Sharing one's truth is a powerful and important thing, but you can stand in your own truth without the need to make everybody else believe it. This is the real sign that you are spiritually awakened. If you can stand in your full truth, even if you're being questioned and even if you're being judged for it, this is when your knowledge is deeply rooted and when it is coming from within, and when you're not just adopting something that you've heard from another spiritual teacher or read in a book, but when you experience it yourself and it's coming from the inside out, and you're so confident in your knowledge that you would still stand your ground if nobody around you would believe you. This is what is supposed to happen. This is how you should feel about your spiritual journey. Like, it is your truth and you have no need to make anybody else believe it. And this doesn't happen overnight. This confidence comes with hours of meditation, with spending time with yourself and your soul and exploring the depths of your existence. This doesn't happen suddenly. It is a process, but at one point you will be so centered in your spirituality and in your truth that you don't even feel the need anymore to wake people up. You're just doing your thing. You're expressing yourself. You are following your path and your purpose. Those who are supposed to resonate with you and with what you have to say will do so anyway, and you can be a catalyst for them. We need to find balance between sharing our truth and respecting everyone's journey. We are here to open doors for those who were already looking for those doors, and not to show people those doors that weren't even aware that there are doors, if that makes sense. So we're just the catalyst for people who are already supposed to awaken. We can't make anybody awaken who is not on their own path and who is not willingly looking for answers and a deeper understanding of life. What I hope to give you with this week's episode is that you truly follow your path, even though nobody approves of it, and that you try to go so deep within your soul that you truly find out what is right for you, and that you find peace with being a spiritual person in a not spiritual world, and that you also realize that you might feel alone, but that you aren't. There are so many people like you and me who are awakened to the truth and who are on their own spiritual journey, and our truth might not be exactly the same because there are a lot of experiences in this universe and everything we can imagine is real. But following your intuition and learning to listen to your intuition rather than listening to someone else is what truly grounds you and is what truly brings you inner peace and makes you get rid of that need to wake everybody up. Because waking people up is also a way to find improvement in you being right. And if you feel the strong need to wake other people up and approve of your truth is not fully integrated yet. So this is what I want to tell you for this week. And I hope this was valuable for you and that you feel a little bit better if you're going through a rough time because you're having a spiritual awakening and you feel very separated and lonely in your surroundings and you feel so different. And yeah, just know that you are not alone and that this journey is meant for you. If you have awakened, there is a reason for it and you are supposed to go that path, and it's all good. You don't need to save anyone. If you liked this episode, I would be really happy if you shared it on your Instagram story and tag me at Isabel Gloria. And I hope to see you in the next episode.